thumbs up and please subscribe if you haven't already. This is International Royals TV. Thank you for tuning in. So today we are going to be discussing Queen Elizabeth II's life history in terms of media depiction and public opinion. In previous episodes, you'll find on the community tab and in the playlist section. Okay, so let's go. Queen Elizabeth II's life history in terms of media depiction and public opinion. And the source I am reading from is Wikipedia. In case you'd like to catch up, you could catch up there. But I've got a whole audio version on the community tab and in the playlist section. If you're a bit lazy to read, you can hear the audio over there on my community tab and in my playlist. Okay, so let's go. Media depiction and public opinion in terms of Queen Elizabeth II's life history. In the 1950s, as a young woman at the start of her reign, Elizabeth was depicted as a glamorous fairy tale queen. After the trauma of the Second World War, it was a time of hope, a period of progress and achievement, heralding a new Elizabethan age. Lord Altringham's, hope I've pronounced that well, accusation in 1957 that her speeches sounded like those of a priggish schoolgirl was an extremely rare criticism. In the late 1960s, attempts to portray a more modern image of the monarchy were made in the television documentary Royal Family and by televising Prince Charles's investiture as Prince of Wales. Elizabeth also instituted other new practices. Her royal walkabout meeting ordinary members of the public took place during the tour of Australia and New Zealand in 1970. Her wardrobe developed a recognizable signature style driven more by function than fashion. In public, she took to wearing mostly solid color overcoats and decorative hats, allowing her to be seen easily in a crowd. By the end of her reign, nearly 1/3 of Britons had seen or met Elizabeth in person. Ah, lucky people. I think I would have loved to have met her in person, but I know it's too late for that now. But lucky people who had the chance to meet Queen Elizabeth II face to face, that must have been an amazing experience. Something that they can hold on to memory forever. Nice. Okay, let's continue. At Elizabeth's Silver Jubilee in 1977, the crowds and celebrations were genuinely enthusiastic. Was what I was saying. She was well loved. She's much loved even after her passing. Ah, bless her. Let's continue. But in the 1980s, public criticism of the royal family increased as the personal and working lives of Elizabeth's children came under media scrutiny. Her popularity sank to a low point in the 1990s. Under pressure from public opinion, she began to pay income tax for the first time, and Buckingham Palace was open to the public. Oh, wow. Although support for the republicanism in Britain seemed higher than at any time in living memory, Republican ideology was still a minority viewpoint, and Elizabeth herself had high approval ratings. Criticism was focused on the institution of the monarchy itself and the conduct of Elizabeth's wider family rather than her own behavior and actions. That doesn't sound too fair. Discontent with the monarchy. So I do apologize. Discontent with the monarchy reached its peak on the death of Diana, Princess of Wales. Although Elizabeth's personal popularity as well as general support for the monarchy rebounded after her live television broadcast to the world 5 days after Diana's death. Let's continue. In 1999, a referendum in Australia on the future of the Australian monarchy favoured its retention in preference to an indirectly elected head of state. Many Republicans credited Elizabeth's personal popularity with the survival of the monarchy in Australia. In 2010, Prime Minister Julia Gillard noted that there was a deep affection for Elizabeth in Australia and that another referendum on the monarchy should wait until after her reign. Gillard's successor, Malcolm Turnbull, who led the Republican campaign in 1999, similarly believed that Australians would not vote to become a republic in her lifetime. She's been an extraordinary head of state. 100% I agree that she was. Let's continue. Turnbull said in 2021, and I think, frankly, in Australia, there are more Elizabethans than there are monarchists. Similarly, referendums in both Tuvalu, hope I pronounced that right, Tuvalu in 2008 and St. Vincent and the Grenadines in 2009 saw voters reject proposals to become republics. Polls in Britain in 2006 and 2007 revealed strong support for the monarchy, and in 2012, Elizabeth's Diamond Jubilee year, her approval ratings hit 90%. Her family came under scrutiny again in the last few years of her life due to her son Andrew's association with the convicted sex offenders Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. His lawsuit with Virginia, I can't pronounce his surname, amidst accusations of sexual impropriety, and her grandson Harry and his wife Meghan's exit from the working royal family and subsequent move to the United States. Polling in Great Britain during the Platinum Jubilee, however, showed support for maintaining the monarchy, and Elizabeth's personal popularity remained strong. As of 2021, she remained the third most admired woman in the world, according to the annual Gallup poll. Her 52 appearances on the list, meaning she had been in the top 10 more than any other woman in the poll's history. I think she deserves that. I think she deserves more than that. She probably deserves first place at the time. Bless her. Let's continue. Elizabeth was portrayed in a variety of media by many notable artists, including Pietro. Sorry if I pronounce any of these names coming up. Let's go for it. Elizabeth was portrayed in a variety of media by many notable artists, including painters Pietro Annigoni, Peter Blake, Chinwe Chukwuogo, Roy, Terence, Sueno. I think I'll just go by their first names. This is getting embarrassing. I can't pronounce these names. Let's just go by their first names. Pietro, Peter, Chinwe, Terence, Lucian, Rolf Harris, Damien Hirst, Juliet Pennant, and Ty-Shan Schierenberg. Notable photographers of Elizabeth included Cecil Beaton, Yusuf Karsh, Anwar Hussein, Annie Leibovitz, Lord Lichfield, Terry O'Neill, John Sawano, and Dorothy Wilding. The first official portrait photograph of Elizabeth was taken by Marcus Adams in 1926. Wow, so that brings us to the end of this session. Under here, I'm reading from Wikipedia. This is the source Wikipedia. Okay, so there's one little bit left. I'll just read that out, and then that concludes our session number 17, called Media Depiction and Public Opinion. So that has concluded that segment. So there's a little bit here. I'll just read it out. Tiles I do apologize. I'll just read that out. It's called Titles, Styles, Honours and Arms. Titles and Styles. Elizabeth held many titles and honorary military positions throughout the Commonwealth, was sovereign of many orders in her own countries, and received honours and awards from around the world. In each of her realms, she had a distinct title that follows a similar formula: Queen of St. Lucia and her other realms and territories. In St. Lucia, Queen of Australia and her realms and territories in Australia, etc. Elizabeth was also styled defender of the faith. So that brings us to the end of our session. So if you have missed anything, all the playlist is in the playlist section, and the playlist is also on the community tab. So you can see parts 1 to, I'll put 17 in there, so you can see parts 1 to 16 in there at the moment. And if you're just joining this live stream, please could you rewind it to the beginning to hear the session today, which was called Media Depiction and Public Opinion. Previously, we discussed in that playlist, you'll find 16 episodes, and we talked about Queen Elizabeth II, as in the beginning of her life, her birth, etc., early life, heir presumptive, Second World War, marriage, reign, her early reign, political reforms and crises, perils and descents, turbulent years, dawn of the new millennium, diamond jubilee and milestones, pandemic and widowhood, platinum jubilee and beyond, her death, sadly, and then her legacy. And then today's session will be added into the playlist later. That's session number 17, which is called Media Depiction and Public Opinion. I thank you so much